From the culture of the American South, where roots hold stories, comes a natural deodorant inspired by generations of wisdom. Introducing Rootwork, the all-natural foundational Black American-based deodorant infused with the magic of High John the Conqueror root. Our unique blend enriched with this legendary root offers 24-hour protection, rooted in the power of nature. Embrace this deodorant that celebrates culture, history, and your well-being. Unlock the magic of Rootwork today. Experience the pure essence of nature. Visit rootworkstyle.com and make the switch to a healthier cultural choice.
We are waiting, just waiting on you guys to do what y'all do, which is come on in the room. Y'all should be popping in any second. I'm just waiting on y'all. We're doing the tap in, late night tap in with Tariq. What's up, family? Y'all good? Glad to have everybody tuning in. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Middle of the week almost. And we're doing the late night tap in. A lot of stuff we're going to cover tonight. By the way, tomorrow there's going to be a FEMA alert. There's going to be an emergency system alert tomorrow at 11:20 West Coast time, 2:20 East Coast time. So you guys be on alert for that. Let's see what's going on with this thing. Let's see, they're going to do this nationwide test. Tomorrow, everybody's phone is going to buzz at 2:20/11:20. I think some of the television broadcasts are going to be interrupted. So we're going to see how this goes down. We're going to see what they're doing. You know, every blue moon, they got to test these systems and see what happens. But what's interesting, let me tell y'all something. They already know what these systems are capable of. They test the systems all the time because they monitor everything we do. I don't want to wear the tinfoil kufi right now, but they already monitor what we do. They monitor phone calls, phone locations. Your phones are basically GPS systems. So they already know. They know how to alert people. They already got the Amber Alert things. So they know how to get at folks and find folks and ding people and communicate. A lot of the technology that's out here, they really underplay it. They got some real advanced technology out here. This is why when there's a fugitive, they know where to find people. They got cameras all over the place. They know how to find and where to find people. It's some heavy stuff out there. But again, be ready for tomorrow. Morgan State, there was a mass shooting at Morgan State out there in Maryland. What's going on with that? Did they catch the suspect? I know there was a shelter in place for the students because they said the suspects, because I'm hearing it was multiple suspects. I'm hearing some reports saying it was 3. Some reports are saying it was 2 suspects. Somebody said it was 1. I don't know. It's still kind of breaking news about what's going on out there in Morgan State. It's interesting to see what's going on out there. I know a lot of Black students go there. Was this some kind of coordinated racial attack? What's going on? Because a lot of these white supremacists, they've been planning these attacks. They've been trying to coordinate doing these attacks. And there was one white supremacist, I forgot which city he was in. He was talking about launching these racial terrorist attacks on Black people and then raping white women in order to increase the birth rates. Did y'all hear about that story? So yeah, these folks get to talking crazy out here. So I'm trying to see what's going on with Morgan State. What was the motive behind that shooting there? And why they haven't gotten the suspects yet? Because again, they might change the narrative tomorrow, but tonight there are multiple suspects that they're talking about. And have you noticed a lot of these mass shootings, sometimes when you hear the initial reports, they'll say that it was multiple shooters, and the witnesses will say there were multiple shooters, and then the next day the whole narrative is changed up. Oh yeah, it was just one lone wolf who was mentally ill. And like, okay, what was all that stuff the day before? So we hear a lot of that. So when a lot of these things pop off, always remember what what was said on the first day, what some of the witnesses were saying. And I'm saying now, a lot of reports now are saying that it was multiple people shooting. So we're going to see what the narrative is as far as Morgan State University, and hopefully everybody's going to be safe out there. Speaking of being safe, I know a lot of people know about this story out there in Jacksonville, Florida, out there in Ron DeSantis's domain. He's turned Florida into an openly anti-black enclave where they can pretty much do whatever they want to the black citizens out there and then make up the narrative later. There was a kid out there, dude, young man, Lakean Woods. He got pulled over, and they built this narrative. He ran from the cops, and boy, they beat the brakes off him. I mean, they beat this dude till his eyes were shut. And then they came up with this narrative. Well, he was resisting. No, he wasn't really resisting. They already had him subdued. They had, you know, they were laying on top of the guy basically, and boy, they were getting their licks in heavy. They were getting it in, and they're justifying this, and all of the other white supremacists are justifying this. See, we gotta as black people be on alert about this stuff when the dominant society not only justifies our racial abuse, our brutal racial abuse, they celebrate it. It's like almost like a wet dream. It's like a sexual fantasy to them. We got to understand where we are with this thing and stop playing games. And the interesting thing about them beating on the brother down there, they're talking about it was a drug deal and whatever. It doesn't matter. Nothing justifies them beating on the dude to the point where his face is disfigured. What's interesting, there was one particular cop. It was the usual suspect race soldiers beating on him, but it was one cop who was a little darker than the other ones. When you look at him, if you and far away, whatever, it looks like a black person. But I'm noticing this quote unquote black looking officer was really getting in some heavy licks. He was kneeing him and elbowing him in the face, and he was really getting his licks in. And I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait, I smell Goya. So we do some research about that particular officer. That's a Latino tether. Some people might want to call him Afro Latino. But yeah, his name is Josu Garriga. So this is a Latino tether really, really showing out with the beatdown. He's really putting them extra kicks in with the beatdown. And come to find out, this particular tether officer, he has a history of killing black men down there. There's a couple of other brothers that particular officer has killed. I think he killed a brother in 2020. So there's a couple of deaths that particular tether officer has been in the news and in the headlines for a minute for killing brothers down there. And he's still on the force, terrorizing and brutalizing. That's just who they want down there on the force. And family, my FBA family, don't let anybody shame you for wanting to delineate. Because the way he was beating on dude, I said, well, that don't look like no FBA cop doing that. An FBA cop, we know the spirit. We know the spirit and the energy of an FBA cop. An FBA cop is Chris Dorner. You know what I'm saying? An FBA cop is the Chris Dorners out there who actually said, "Hey, that police brutality thing, that ain't gonna be it. If you guys are gonna brutalize the community, well, you guys are gonna get some of that work too." But when people call up and try to shame us, oh, we all in this together. Why y'all niggas so divisive? Why do y'all want to delineate? This is why. This is why. So we're not going to play that whole game where everybody kind of looks black, so we all one big nigga and we all one big happy family. No, because y'all don't think like that. Too many of the tether class, they don't think like that. These people have vitriol towards us, and we got to be hypersensitive about that tether class, because again, they'll call up here like the girl the other day. Y'all don't be saying nothing about the Latinos and the Asians. Well, a lot of them, the lighter ones, a lot of them can't really blend in. The darker ones, see, they're the problem. They're the problem too. I'm not going to say they're just the problem, but many of them are the problem too, because they're more insidious. Because if they have a little melanin and a little kink in their hair, a little texture in the hair, they can kind of come around us and kind of blend in a little bit, you dig? And have nothing but vitriol towards us and do little snake shit like this officer did to the brother, beating him down, getting with the white supremacists beating down on him. So these folks are able to do stuff like that with a clear conscience, because in their minds, we aren't the same people. You understand? You can beat somebody down and you can get on the police force and start killing brothers left and right, and you don't feel nothing. You don't have no racial camaraderie with us because you know you're from a different lineage. That's the problem. Don't let folks kind of fool you into believing that all of these people think like we do, like we're on this big old Pan African kumbaya. You see, we don't do the Wakanda thing. It's too late in the game to sell Wakanda. And our good brother, Dr. Claude Anderson, has been talking about this for the longest. That's why I always give him props, and I'm seeing a lot of people are starting to recognize our brother and give him props. He did a Twitter space with some people the other day, and I heard he was really dropping some game. And I've noticed a lot of the tethers, they've been doing Twitter spaces denigrating our brother Claude Anderson. A lot of the tether classes, and also Strappy and the A-Dunce crowd, they've been trying to denigrate our brother Claude Anderson for speaking facts. And if you go back, listen, in one of the interviews I did with him on my podcast about 7 years ago, he was talking about how us going over trying to do stuff in Africa, that ain't gonna work. Because again, I'm like, hey man, I'm over here, I'm going to Africa, I'm trying to reach out, and he was the one who kind of woke me up. He was like, look, brother, over that ain't gonna work. Over in that, we got to get our stuff together over here, man. Let's just keep it a buck, man. We going over there. It's tribalistic. Ain't nobody on code over there. We really got to get what we need popping right here. We got our shit over here. We're our own group. We got to get things popping over here, which is true. You know, and we have sympathy for certain things that happen in certain nations, whatever. That's fine. And I still ride with some brothers and sisters overseas. You know, I wish the best for people, but when it comes to getting what we need to get as far as our resources, the focal point is here, because we haven't been focusing on what we need to focus on. We've been trying to put the cape on and save everybody to our own detriment. And then people want to shame us for looking out for our own lineage group, because they know that's where our power is. When we start focusing and uplifting our lineage group, we're going to get empowered, which is what we're doing now. We're getting more on code, which is what we're doing now, which is very important. But the shaming tactics, we're not going for that no more. I saw some shamings. There was an article talking about Beyonce, our FBA sister Beyonce, and the Renaissance tour, and how much money it made. That Renaissance tour made $500 million. That Renaissance tour clocked, it broke all types of records. Um, our FBA sister Beyonce did her thing, and people are praising that accomplishment, that tour, the phenomenal tour. Grossed $500 million. And I saw some tweets with some tethers. Oh, look at that, Beyonce. You did not even come to your motherland, because I don't think she did any shows in Africa. So they're trying to, you didn't come to your motherland. Now, y'all remember these tethers were sitting up here shitting on Beyonce. When Beyonce went over there trying to show love and trying to give props and praise to some of the culture, they were like, oh, look at Titakata. You're not the queen of Africa. They were talking mad shit about that sister. When she went over there trying to give shine, their jealousy and hatred was coming through. So Beyonce was probably like, fuck all of y'all. I ain't mad at her. I ain't mad at it. She's gonna skip right over that. I'm gonna renaissance my ass over to Dubai or wherever. I ain't going there. You know, don't talk crap. Y'all want to talk crap either way. And when people say, okay, well, just hold your own nuts. Hey, wait, nigga. Wait, nigga. Y'all do that with us. Y'all sit there in these clubhouse rooms, talk all that shit. Y'all talk crap about us. We're all types of avocadas. And now you get on TikTok grading us. And then when we say, okay, well, you go, hold your own nuts. You do you. Wait, nigga. Wait. We're all in this together. You know, when we leave you alone, that's a form of punishment. You got people calling up here talking about you target Tariq. You are targeting immigrants, targeting you by leaving you the fuck alone and wanting y'all to get out of our business. That's targeting you. So when you ask somebody about target you, how? You can't even explain it. Nobody's targeting you. We want you to mind your business. Unless you're going to come and back us up on something. If you're trying to back us up on something, come on through. But if y'all sitting up here trying to undermine us and getting into our mix and talk about what we don't need to get, and you hanging with white police trying to beat us down, no, take your ass on somewhere. That's what we're saying. Leave us the hell alone if you're doing all that weirdo stuff. You targeting us, nigga? No, nobody's targeting you. You see, I'm not trying to beat up on nobody, but the tether problem is a problem, as we see with this beat down that this brother got. That's a problem. That's why we're saying, hey man, so we checking everybody's paperwork. When y'all do little weird shit like that, and you kind of look like you could look like us a little bit, no, we got some reservations about that. We got some reservations about it. That's a problem. Yeah. And shout out again to our sister Beyonce. I'm very proud of our sister. And another thing too, when people talk all this, well, nigga, we came over with $2, and you niggas are lazy. If I can make it, you niggas can make it. Stop. Yeah, it was one of these politicians. She was announced that there are hundreds of job openings. All of these employers are looking for employees, and they got all of these immigrants that they're going to bring over. So you have our politicians using our tax dollars to openly skip over us. All of these black people out here who are in need of work, ready to work. It's not Nobody's not lazy. People need jobs. They want to work. We hire people at our spot at the museum all the time when we're allowed to have events. Now we got some red tape as far as that. And that's another thing too, family. If you're in California, especially, listen, if you're in California and you need to get like permits or any type of thing, yeah, hire you some non-black people to get the paperwork done for you. They're so on code in the administrative arm of Los Angeles and California. It's a gatekeeping mechanism. That's all it is. It's a major gatekeeping mechanism. But going back to the story, this politician was talking about all of these jobs they're going to give to these immigrant groups. They're going to hook them in with employers, and they got all types of programs to get all of these non-citizens to connect them directly with employers. Yeah. So don't let nobody run that bootstrap game over you. None of these people, they're not going through no red tape, nothing. The red tape and all that comes with us. When they incentivize all these other people, it's no paperwork needed. They just get right over here. You can't speak English, but there's a job waiting on you. There's resources waiting on you. With us, look at what we got to do. Look, going back to California, look what the task force, the reparations. We've been on this reparations task force thing left and right. We've been having task force meetings for what, a year, going back and forth. They done wrote one draft, and we had to make sure the language was right. Everybody had to comb through it and make sure the language was right. And then we had to go to these meetings and the online meetings, and we're going. They have the reparations meetings in San Francisco, then LA, and then San Diego. You got to bounce up and down the state, nigga. Then the one of the ones up there in the Bay, I went up there. It a bunch of damn agents in there. These They done flooded it with agents to disrupt and troll and act a damn fool to throw people all off. I mean, every obstacle you can imagine, we have to go through. And we're still waiting to see if any resources are going to be distributed. You see? And all of these other groups who can't even speak English, not even citizens, are coming over here and just buckets of money waiting on them. Dude, they got grants. And we got a black museum in a black neighborhood that's doing things actively in the community with plenty of media coverage. Can't get a dime in grant money, can't get a single dime. But when you look at these grant programs, they got earmarked funds specifically for immigrants, also specifically for undocumented immigrants. They got specific money earmarked for them. You understand? So that's by design. And it's designed by the white supremacists. It's not an accident. It's not just something that happens. We have to understand how the systematic anti-black racism is in every sector of society. See, we think white supremacy racism is just a bunch of mouth frothing Klan members. No, anti-black racism is systematic. So the people don't even act mad to you because it's already baked into the system. They just get on code with everybody else within the system to lock us out of the resources. Going back to what's going on out here in LA with the permits and all that. Like I said before, y'all heard me talk. Um, they have different levels of gatekeeping when we try to get certain levels of power locked in, especially as far as real estate, business ownership, resource development, any of that, anything that has to do with the acquisition of land and resources, they get on high alert. That's why we have situations like Bruce's Beach and all of that. So we've always had that in California. Black people get part of this real estate and the resources. They go on full alert to start working against it. And when you try to get property, they have the real estate gatekeepers that do things and sabotage. Then they have the banking gatekeepers who play games at the banks. We know about the redlining, and that still goes on to a certain degree. So we still they're the gatekeepers at the bank, and if you can go past that, the gatekeepers are going to be at the permit office. You get past that, the gatekeepers will be in the police department. So you got to just jump through gatekeepers and gatekeepers and gatekeepers. But again, when I went downtown LA, and I keep telling people about the permit office downtown, again, when I went down there and I saw it was nothing but non-black people in there. When I went down there and saw no black people, that was a suspicious thing. And now dealing with them, I see why. That's unusual for no black people to be in a place where there's hundreds of employees. Even if you're the minority in a city, just for no black people to be there. And if you go downtown, I challenge anybody to go down to the building and development office in downtown Los Angeles. Just go in the whole building. It's not a black person in that building. You go up to all the different departments, not a black person in the departments up there. So they don't want no black person up there to get on code with another black person who comes in. They use that mechanism as a way to throw hurdles at people when they're trying to get permits. They deliberately try to throw these added hurdles and permits so that we would have a difficult time getting business handled. So this is why, and places like this in California in particular, when it comes to business endeavors, um, a lot of times black people will get a white front person. That movie The Banker is about that, but that's a very common thing out here. Black person, if you're trying to do business, you get a white front person. That's why Easy E needed Jerry Heller. That's why, and you hopefully you get a white person who ain't gonna screw you over. But this is why Easy got with Jerry Heller. Jerry Heller was the front person who can open those doors, which is important, and that's why Dr. Dre has Jimmy Iovine. You understand? A lot of people wonder why Dre has been rocking with Iovine for so long. Dre needs Iovine. He in California, Dre 100% needs a Jimmy Iovine. Now Jimmy's gonna get what he needs to get out of it, but Dre would not have gotten in certain positions that he's in without Jimmy Iovine, because you need that white face. Because these people they don't give a damn how talented you are. They want to see a white face walk in that door with you, or they'll just lock you out. They're about racial codification majorly. And this is throughout the entertainment industry, to be honest. Throughout the entertainment industry. That's why Michael Jackson, they turned on Michael. You see, Michael was rock. He had the Tommy Mottolas and all of that. Michael went over all of these people's heads. Michael went over there and said, fuck a Tommy Mottola. And Michael went over there to Japan, where the Sony headquarters are, and then struck a deal directly with the Sony CEOs and then got everybody's publishing. They immediately went on alert on our brother Michael. When Michael did that, Michael said, fuck a white front person. Nigga, I'm light enough. I got vitiligo. I'll be my own front person and the nigga behind the scenes. And they're like, oh, okay, nigga. Okay. All right, wacko jacko. Then they turned on him. Yeah. Y'all better, it's real out here. This is why, we have to have networks of folks. It's important for us to try to get networks, and that's just to be codified as much as we can. And we're getting there. We're getting more codified, and we just got to keep that momentum. We really have to support each other who's doing good things on a grassroots level. We have to really support what each other's doing on the grassroots level. There's some real stuff out here. We're going to get some calls in a minute, because I know there's a lot of people on here who want to get on. And by the way, October is Hoodoo Heritage Month. All right. October is Hoodoo Heritage Month, and hoodoo is not like voodoo. Hoodoo is a part of foundational Black American culture. It's a culture of healing and conjure, where we would use spirituality and nature to heal and get spiritual strength and physical strength. And this is what our root work deodorant is about at rootworkstyle.com. Hoodoo and root work and conjure are the same things. And we have to get back into understanding our foundational Black American culture. And that is a part of our culture. The white supremacists started making us afraid of our culture by telling us hoodoo and voodoo is devil worshiping, and then we start getting scared. No, it's not. Hoodoo is not anything about devil worshiping. It's about nature. It's about healing and just tapping into nature on a spiritual level. And that's all it is. And using nature to heal. And we understood roots and weather and trees and plants and herbs, and we knew how to connect them to the spiritual essence that we had, and to utilize our praise and acknowledgement of our ancestors who suffered during slavery. That's a part of the hoodoo tradition as well. We really got to tap into our foundational Black American culture. We got a powerful culture. And I did a broadcast before talking about how the hoodoo conjurer people were very successful people for a long time in America. They became so successful, the white supremacists got a little nervous, because these were the people who were the actual doctors. They were making more money around the country than actual doctors, than medical doctors, because the hoodoo and conjure and root work people, they knew what they were doing. So a lot of the white medical industries they started to learn what they were doing and then started making synthetic versions of some of the herbs the black root workers were doing. Heavy stuff, man. But go to rootworkstyle.com, ladies and gentlemen, and get some of that root work deodorant with that High John the Conqueror root in it.